This is Newcap News with Nerman Esau.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. On this snowy day, emergency crews have been kept busy today, dealing with a couple of crashes in the city. Now, this crash happened at 62nd Avenue and 52nd Street just around 2 p.m. RCMP say the driver of the pickup slammed into an SUV carrying 2 adults and 4 children. The jaws of life were needed to get one of the adults out of the SUV. Now, police said it was snowing and that there were icy patches, so motorists need to drive according to the conditions.
Down, it's Lloydminster's not that big. You shouldn't be in that big of a hurry to get to where you're going.
All drivers and passengers in both vehicles were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, charges are pending against the pickup driver. Meanwhile, earlier in the day, RCMP responded to a multi-vehicle crash at the intersection of College Drive and 36th Street. 2 people were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, police have charged a truck driver in that case. A local dentist is going to war against Halloween candy. But before we go on, Dr. Neki Jamal understands this is the time of year that kids love to eat candy. But he says moderation is key. But if your child just can't do without their sugar fix, Dr. Jamal has a proposition.
The more kids, the better. And we want to get that sugar off the streets.
Dr. Neki Jamal is on a mission. He wants kids to trade their candy away. Now, at first thought, you may think it sounds absurd, and Dr. Jamal knows that. So, he's sweetening the deal.
For each pound of candy that you bring in back to us for the 2 weeks following Halloween, we're going to give you a ticket, and then we'll do a draw for an iPad.
Dr. Jamal understands kids will want to eat as much candy as possible during Halloween. He just wants parents to ensure their kids eat it in moderation and has this handy advice for them.
A good idea would just be to start by sorting all your candy. As soon as you get it, dump the bag on the floor and ask your kids what they want to eat, what they don't want to eat, because when it comes down to it, they're probably going to eat everything.
Dr. Jamal has some spooky facts when it comes to certain candy. He says the harder the candy, the higher the chance you can break a tooth or filling. Now, if your child is eating something sticky such as toffee, they have a higher chance of pulling out a filling or a cap. So, would the chance to win an iPad convince some kids to give up their loot?
Would you guys give your candy away for an iPad?
Yeah.
You would?
Yes.
Would you?
Nope. No.
Never?
Never.
Not even for an iPad?
No, because I have an iPod. No.
Not even for something sweet?
No.
Like an iPad?
No.
In the end, the dentist knows that kids aren't going to shun their candy altogether, but if they're willing to give away just some of it, they could possibly win an even sweeter prize.
And it is the final weekend leading up to Halloween night this Wednesday. The border city was getting into the spirit today. And with several Halloween activities going on around town, Newcap was staking out the best spots to celebrate the spooky holiday. Elise Cox has more.
Screams were heard outside this haunted house as kids ran through to earn their treat bag prize at the end.
Well, it was pretty scary because I didn't know where to go. She was holding
I
on
was
to
just
me
hiding
all the
behind
time. Her like this, and I'm really scared.
The haunted house is for kids of all ages, but some might appreciate it more than others.
So far? Well, it's been various reactions. There's a couple of criers, unfortunately. We try not to make it too scary so the little people can come through. And I mean, it's a good mixture, and depending on their imaginations, I guess, depends on how scared they're going to be. So, yeah, it's been a mixed reaction from everybody.
Why do you guys like haunted houses?
Because you don't know what's coming out at you, and it's so just fun. It's dark.
So dark that our camera girl, Brittany Ring, couldn't see a thing as she walked through.
If anything jumps up at me, I will scream. So it's terrifying.
No need to worry, it was only silly string. And then after the haunted house, we headed to the Legion Halloween party where we saw some awesome costumes.
What are you for Halloween?
A nurse. Wolverine. I'm an 80s girl. A witch. I'm a nerd.
The Halloween party had crafts and tons of dancing. We even even spotted our friends from the haunted house, Dakota and Blaze.
Well, it was pretty cool because we got to go to the haunted house and get sprayed by crazy string, and then we get to come here and dance.
It's been really fun because we've been having a terrific day because we got to see new people, find friends, have fun, and the best part of it is getting scared.
And good news for those of you who are still in the Halloween spirit, you have trick-or-treating to look forward to on Wednesday. Elise Cox, Newcap News.
And Emmett Murphy joined me on the desk for our first look at sports. We were looking at this story and I was just like, I'm not really a big Star Wars fan. If that was Lord of the Rings, I probably would have been camping out there. That's my little nerdy moment. But I asked you, are you a Star Wars fan? No. Do you have a favorite movie?
No.
Is there anything you would line up for?
Sports, Hockey Hall of Fame, maybe? I don't know. I've been there.
Well, let's talk about sports. Let's talk about something that you want to talk about. We got the Bobcats, but the
Baker Hughes Bobcats taking on the Calgary Flames at home yesterday afternoon, hoping to ignite their stagnant offense while shutting down one of the league's best. Bobcats led 1-0 after the first on a goal by Bryce Woodward. Connor James nearly adds another, but the puck just hangs around in the Flames' crease. Third period, Newcap reporter Clayton Brown, donning the stripes, calls a penalty on the visitors. Cats get to work. Connor James' shot goes through this time. Home team leads 2-0 3 minutes into the third. Calgary goes on the attack. The shot from the point is blocked. Flames forward recovers, spins, fires it off a Bobcat skate, but can't beat Josh Bukowski. With 6 minutes left, Bobcats work a perfect breakout. Steen Passage-Schnuck avoids the hip check, slides a pass to Connor James, who tees it up and lets it fly. He gets his second of the game, 3-0 Cats. But that pesky ref calls a penalty on the Orange and Black with just over 3 minutes left. Calgary pulls the goalie. Bobcats unable to clear. Flames with a weird tic-tac-toe. They make it 3-1. Madison Dunn celebrates like he just scored the cup winner. Maybe he didn't realize his team was down 2. They couldn't score again. The Baker Hughes Bobcats win 3-1. They have now won back-to-back. You may remember me telling you last night that the Bobcats, with the most goals against in the North Division, were pitted against the Whitecourt Wolverines, the team with the most goals for in the North, last night. Doesn't sound like a good combination, and it wasn't. Take a look at that score. Bobcats lost 12-0. Not much to discuss. Kyle Baumgartner let in all 12 goals, as the Bobcats' other goalie, Chase Martin, was suspended for this tilt. Martin and Baumgartner have the 2 worst save percentages in the league. The Bobcats have lost 5 in a row. The Bonnyville Pontiacs also had a weekend to forget. They lost Friday night against the undefeated Brooks Bandits 7-2. The Ponts actually got out to the early lead, but let in 5 power play goals on 6 chances. Last night, they dropped their 4th straight game, 5-1 to the Okotoks Oilers. Ty Carey scored the only goal for the Ponts. They went 0 for 7 on the power play. They have slid all the way to 4th in the North. And I may have jinxed the Universal Heat earlier in the week when I said they were poised to go undefeated. They dropped the very next game, losing 9-3 to Edmonton MLAC yesterday. Ryan Yevney was in on all 9 goals, scoring a double hat-trick and adding 3 assists. The Heat's leading scorers, Mason Shaw and Cale Clegg, were held pointless. And the tough weekend for local hockey teams continued with the Lloydminster Bandits last night. The Bandits lost 7-6 to the Killam Wheat Kings. It's the second time this season the Bandits have lost to the Wheat Kings, both by the same score. The Bandits slipped to 3rd in the 4-team South Division. The Lakeland RUSTLERS soccer team was in Red Deer this weekend for their first ever ACAC playoffs. They won their first match, but lost in the semis, setting up a bronze medal match today against the Red Deer Kings. The RUSTLERS scored 3 unanswered goals as ACAC All-Conference player Kyle Benson earned his second shutout of the playoffs in a 3-0 win. The RUSTLERS earned the bronze medal in their inaugural playoff appearance, a great cap to the season for the boys. The Lloydminster Border Kings are no longer a part of the Chinook Hockey League, having made a mess of their team following last year's Allen Cup. Today, they started their new life in the Sask West Hockey League, hosting the Kerrobert Tigers. Pick up the game in the second. Border Kings leading 3-0. Brad Cruikshank rips a slapper. Shane Marsh just gets a piece of it. Moments later, Stevie Jean from the same spot as Cruikshank scores. Border Kings up 4-0 halfway through the game. 5 minutes later, Devin Swaripa dishes it to Curtis Wandler. Make that 5-0. The Tigers come close to breaking the shutout. They get 2 cracks in tight, but no dice. Back the other way. Border Kings with a glorious opportunity as time expires in the second, but they can't bury it. To the third. Kings streak down the wing, have 2 guys with room in front. Ryan Kosrove snipes one to make it 6-0 less than a minute in. Then a minute and a half later, Jordy Dugan and Brad Cruikshank work the give and go. The Border Kings win by a lot. That's your first look at Newcap Sports. Stay tuned for more news and weather after the break. And it's time now for the Newcap Sports Play of the Week. We head back to the Civic Center for yesterday's game between the Baker Hughes Bobcats and the Calgary Flames. Bobcats, Connor James finishes the slick breakout play of the orange and black for his second of the game. Bobcats win 3-1. That's your look at Newcap Sports. Stay tuned for more news and weather after the break.